We are the Nerd Eternal Network.
Hello, and welcome to Icons of Water World, here on the Nerd Eternal Network. I'll be your GM for the day, Jason, and with me will be Mike playing Independence Ray, Curtis playing Toss Up, Zach playing Recluse, and Taylor playing Unison.
Howdy, howdy.
Getting started a little late and tried to broadcast on the wrong channel, but we should be good to go now. Alright, last session. The S.P.E.A.R team had traveled to Japan, so the political types could discuss an agreement that would allow S.P.E.A.R to operate in Japanese soil at the request of the Japanese government. Since because of the treaty at the end of World War II, they cannot have an official state-sponsored superhero team. While there, though, S.P.E.A.R had the S.P.E.A.R team had a PR sort of event with a local super team that is self-funded, self-governed. They have worked with the Japanese government a few times, of course, but the Mighty Task Force Cybernetic 5, which is actually a 6-member team, sort of. But the original 5 were all cyborgs, that's the name. But, during a question and answer session during the event, someone began loudly shouting questions about some kidnappings and what the team was doing to investigate those. After the event at the reception, the team, which is actually headed by an AI named Masaki Hiroko, who is also a sort of cybernetic celebrity, or cyberspace celebrity, or however you put it. She's a singer. Nobody knows her. Yes, celebrity. Yeah, virtual celebrity. Thank you. And while she was performing for the event, no one seems to realize she's actually connected to the team. It is, in fact, her music that and popularity, and basically, she generates the money that funds the team. She designs most of their tech. But they had been investigating these disappearances. They had gotten a lead, and you and the task force headed out to see. You're in Tokyo. Having an old man moment. The name of the town the nuclear reactor was in that went bad.
Fukushima.
Fukushima, thank you. I knew it started with an F, and I could not pull that name out of my head. Anyway. In a part of the city that's still kind of abandoned. You landed, began poking around. The lead was you had... CCTV had picked up basically a kidnapping. And it managed to more or less track the van to this area. Y'all began poking around. You ran into some irradiated boars. Some of them seem to generate fields of radiation. Some of them spit radiation, or spit like energy beams at you. It was bad juju. I believe we had ended the session. You had found like a garage. That the van you were looking for was parked in. There was some extra surveillance equipment set up around there that had y'all disabled it?
We were talking about it.
So I want to say y'all had gotten inside.
We got inside, we saw the vat of blood, and we saw creatures that were not human, but we didn't get a description of what they looked like.
Oh, yeah, those guys.
I don't think you had all seen that. I believe Unison had sent some folks down, had astral projected down there.
I had shot a ghost in the room.
Yes.
Right.
We saw teenagers suspended in liquid, and there's some kind of creature monitoring as the tubes are extracting blood from the teenagers. And also, it's probably worth noting that Recluse had just had just moments before been spotted by some kind of security camera.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he smiled for the
Wait.
camera.
Oh, okay. I thought it was turning to look at him, and he got out of the view in time.
He climbed to look through the air vent, because like a lot of garages up at the peak, kind of, you had one of those just fans that would move the air, and there was a camera concealed in there. He peeked around the corner and saw the camera, and as it started to... So you're pretty sure he was not spotted.
Oh, that's good.
Taylor, which member of Unison did you send to the ground?
Oh, that's gonna be a...
If you don't remember, just name off somebody. So I'm just throwing them down
Let's
on
just
that.
make it night shift.
Night shift it is. Now, was he visible while he was doing this?
No. If they're ghosting, they're typically gonna be invisible.
That's kind
Because
of
that's the
what I'd assume.
safest way to do it.
All right, let me move y'all over to the map then.
Oh my goodness, a personalized map.
Well, I put up the fog of war, so y'all can't see the entire complex. And basically assume that the vats... Let's see. Well, it was supposed to be the free to draw tool. Why didn't it let me draw? Oh. All this experience on Roll20. And I'm clicking the tool on one screen and trying to use it on the browser I got going on the other tool. It don't work that way. Alright, basically I'm Xing the squares that have some of those tanks with people in it. And then you have the big tub right there that behold my beautiful heart. That's got the the blood in it sloshing around.
Yeah.
With tubing that's feeding, it's clearly draining from the people on the sides and into the tank. And you've got a alien, a mutant, something. Walking around with some sort of data pad, tablet type thing. But it seems to walk up to a tank, hold the tablet up to the tank, get a read, possibly checking vitals or whatever, and moves on to the next tank. And I believe you had reported back what you were seeing to the rest of the team. Though you had, I want to say you and the task force had separated when you began searching the neighborhoods. Y'all had broken up into teams.
But then we fought a bunch of pigs, and I asked them to come help me.
Yeah, I thought we had regrouped when we found the garage.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting around to asking.
We were at least regrouping.
Okay.
If not already regrouped.
All right. Then while you're checking this room out, the task force, arrives. You warn them about the cameras, so they manage not to get, spotted that way.
And by task force, it means Cybernetic 5.
Yes. Mighty Task Force Cybernetic 5.
Oh, right. That's the full name.
I mean, I guess I could just rattle the whole thing off every time I mention it if you want me to. See how many times I get the words in the wrong order.
I mean, they're mighty, they're cybernetic, they're task force, and there's 5 of them.
Except there's 6 of them.
Yeah.
Not the cybernetic ones.
That's true. The 6th one does not appear to be
Joe.
cybernetic.
He appears to be
but
magic.
They're like the mighty Cybernetic 5 and Dude.
He's also the only one whose name doesn't have a number in it, so yeah. He's
The prerequisite renegade of the group.
Look, He's there. He's there to be a Yakuza watchdog. We move on with life.
Do we know that?
No,
Okay.
we move on with life.
Alright, so anyway, Night Shift is underground watching this.
Everyone above ground knows about it.
You know, if you look over the person's shoulder, you can't read. You know, you don't know how to read the data that's coming up on the thing.
Do I have enough awareness to tell that there's like reoccurring symbols?
Yes, and there is like a waveform that might be the heartbeat or blood pressure or something. And
But
while
basically,
everybody's is a little bit different, all of them seem to be pretty steady.
So I can tell it's a language,
Yes, definitely that.
constructed, advanced technology. They don't look human. They've got people in test tubes.
Right.
Cool. Up top side, unit will quickly go. All right. It looks by all appearances that we have another alien group on Earth
Huh.
because they have advanced technology, a language I've never seen, and with the reoccurring characters, I know it's a form of language. So they have a written cipher and super advanced technology, and they don't look human.
What do they look like?
Green with Mobile's head.
I'm just going to say I don't think I designed how they looked.
Please
No.
tell me they've got like 2 giant Nosferatu buck teeth.
No.
That would be awesome.
They do, but they're not located where you think they should.
Yeah, they're like that snake where they shoot from the bottom up.
But no, you think they've got kind of a long, extended head that kind of goes back slightly. They're wearing a suit, so that might just be a weird helmet. But assuming the helmet is roughly shaped like their head, then they have kind of an extended skull compared to humans.
Like a Geiger alien.
It doesn't quite go backwards quite like that. It's more up with a slight tilt.
Like
Okay,
the cone
but
heads.
Oh, I was going to say Great Kazoo, but yeah, that all works.
Well, cone heads I think went straight up, but anyway.
And they're not green, like the Great Kazoo, so mine's better.
Yeah.
Great Kazoo went really hardcore after the Flintstones ended.
Right. Teach those kids.
Alright, so we've got creepy aliens doing... it. Does it look like experiments or they're just studying? Like, they're not introducing anything into the body, are they?
The only tubes you see are, other than a breathing tube or whatever, there's a couple of tubes that go into the mouth. There's a
Definitely
catheter.
something covering the nose.
Yeah. It looks like, it's not clear, so you can't tell if it's just a breathing mask or if there might be like a feeding tube.
It's like a setup like what Luke Skywalker was in after he got whacked
Kind
by
of.
Wampa.
Well, like, you can tell there's obviously, it's a bunch of stuff to keep the person alive.
Yeah, there's
And then-
catheters and that sort of thing. Nobody in the tanks is actually clothed.
Oh, well.
Inappropriate aliens.
But
They're
there are
teenagers.
strategically placed bubbles.
Of
Well, I
course.
mean, like, oh, so I have to buy the Blu-ray edition to get the bubbles.
You have to wear the Snyder.
Oh, what movie was it? Was it The Abyss? It was one of those kind of deep sea, something weird's going on under the ocean movies that they get to the surface, they have to resuscitate the one chick, and in the movie, she's topless while they're doing it. They have to tear her shirt open, get her heart started, or whatever it is. I forget what it is. When they edit it for television, they put water droplets on the camera. So it looked like there was just water droplets on the camera at just the right spots to blur stuff.
That's clever.
Yeah.
That's
It
actually
was
clever.
a buddy of mine thought that was the cleverest way to edit something, so it wasn't glaringly obvious.
Yeah.
But no, these are inappropriate aliens. Or maybe this alien's a doctor, so there's nothing wrong with this. No, it's okay. I'm a
He's a
doctor.
professional. He's a professional.
this random voyeur isn't supposed to be in here.
To be fair,
night shift is the
probably not the first time that Unison has thought of themselves as a voyeur. I used to follow congressmen around. This ain't the weirdest thing.
This ain't nothing compared to what I've seen.
Yeah. Do you know how much government blackmail I've had to gather?
No.
I mean, it's 2020 now. Half of it's useless, but still. This guy's a Nazi. Yeah, we know. What do you mean you know? Kick him out. Why? I agree with so much of what he says. No!
She's bad.
Yeah, I was reading some superhero novel where somebody was trying to blackmail a congressman or something. Pretty woman has seduced him in the bedroom. He's blindfolded. Then she morphs out into a big overweight man. When they're showing the video later, he's like, that's. Yeah, but people just think I'm gay. Who cares anymore? Was his initial reaction. They managed to get him blackmailed, but yeah. They weren't pleasant.
It's a lot harder to blackmail people.
They weren't pleasant people, but
yeah, they found his pressure point.
All right.
Yeah,
So
some of that stuff just doesn't stick anymore.
now the team knows it's aliens. What do we do?
you suspect it could be a super intelligent mutant that invented his own language.
Is there any
Now,
Question. Since you brought this up, what possible reason would a super intelligent mutant have to go, hey, I should just make a new language, not one that I already use. Take the time to program a computer to use it.
Maybe each character represents entire concepts as opposed to just words or sentences. I'm studying that from another superhero novel I read. You had a super intelligent guy that did that because it sped up his use of stuff. But no, you're assuming alien, and that is the reasonable thing to assume with what you've got. I'm just being facetious.
The world I live in says it's probably an alien.
Now,
All the aliens I know kidnap people. This is a kidnapping.
Catheters are kind of probes, eh?
The phrase space vampire came up last game. However, that was kind of...
that happened after the cameras went down.
Yeah, that was not revealed, I don't think, to the players. I mean, the characters don't really know that. Obviously, Unison saw... Can we really infer that they're just draining these kids of their blood?
Well, that's
and
what
collecting it
that's
into the
what
that sounds like
the information Night Shift is giving is that they've got the breathing tubes, the catheter. The only thing I see like changing any person is the fact that they have something that's taking blood out.
It doesn't seem to be doing it rapidly.
But like it's taking blood, they're keeping the people alive, but there's a big tub of blood. They're taking the blood for some reason.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, do we have contact to talk to the AI right now?
Mighty Spy 5 does.
Yeah. Before we do anything, or while we're thinking about what we're going to do, I'd like to ask her to run another check of the victims and see if there's anything in common or specifically not in common, blood related. Are we looking at blood type, maybe a disease that they all had in common, or a specific virus or something that none of them caught? Just to see if there's something unique about
any strange overlap period.
Anything specific related to the blood other than their age, that these are all young, healthy kids.
Akiichi forwards your well, no, they gave you. I'm sure they'd given you the frequency for their comm link. So, yeah, Masaki's like,
Oh, I think we went over that last session. At least at the time, there seemed to be no links amongst the victims besides their age.
Yeah, but we weren't specifically looking at
yeah.
blood.
But if you want Masaki to specifically look at like blood types, stuff like that,
I got you.
She goes, I don't actually have access to their medical records. Give me a few minutes. And
Wait, what?
hypothetically, maybe I'll figure something out.
Interesting.
Are there any obvious defenses that Night Shift can see going down this set of stairs?
Unit will look at Recluse. Yes, it's alien.
The alien has what looks like a sidearm on him. Or her, you can't really tell. The suit
Oh yeah,
obscures it
does
sort
this
of.
alien look like any other known alien that we have on record?
The
I
suit.
realize I'm attached to S.P.E.A.R. S.P.E.A.R has knowledge of some aliens.
There's no. You can't really tell. You can't really tell about the alien specifically because of the suit. The suit does not register as anything recognized. The sidearm pings results. There's not a 100% match, but there is a variety of alien weaponry people have run across that it resembles it. It could be a different maker model, maybe, or just a similar device. So the gun looks kind of familiar. But that just means it could be the equivalent of, a Beretta 9mm or something, It could just be a mass-produced sidearm and everybody and their brother has.
Fair.
I hear the baby.
Someone's
She
not
can't
happy.
play with the toys she wants.
What?
She
Why
can't-
not? Tyranny.
What?
She can't play with
What?
them the way she wants to play with them.
What kind of an evil daddy are you?
Oh, she just hasn't figured out, the whole fingers thing just yet. So she can't play with them the way she wants.
Oh, she physically can't play with him the way she wants and it's
Yeah,
upsetting.
yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Curse these useless hands.
Earlier, she was mad because Anna tried to give her some Cheerios. They were disgusting.
Good kid.
Yeah. Always hold out
I
for the honey nut.
appreciate a child who understands that Cheerios are garbage cereal. Now you toss that baby some Cinnamon Toast Crunch, sees what happens, and
Get some crunch berries.
They're a fruit, right?
Right.
they're approximations of fruit, like the loops. But anyway, but yeah, Una will look at Recluse, go, it's alien.
I mean,
What
like, are there
the
moving
difference
tracks in the
between
hallway?
a machine that studies bodies and a machine that shoots at bodies? Unless it's got like an obvious gun mount, I'm not really gonna know.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
But regardless, they're keeping people alive. We should probably try to find a way in there.
Yeah.
Is kidnapping and
Yeah.
kind of like a
But-
human chop shop, I guess, but just for blood. I don't know the exact criminology term as a person. Like my character would know if there's.
Well, I'm sure they would at least count it as kidnapping and assault.
Yeah, but like
Biological theft.
It's not organ harvesting.
It might legally it might fall under that though. I don't know.
To
And I'm assuming
well, you are harvesting the work of an organ.
Oh.
it's the organ's work product. I'm assuming that Unison did not see all of the missing children.
No, in this room he just sees 6.
How many are there in total?
I don't remember if I said last time. There's been a dozen or so at least.
But that
Aw.
sort of implies to me that maybe that even though they're trying to keep these kids alive, they are not successfully doing that. They eventually.
Oh, great.
I don't
I could
know.
be
It's not
wrong.
that hard to keep a human being alive. Like they may have failed the first 2 or 3 times, but I'm betting they've just got more rooms like this.
It's possible, unless they just got, too hungry and drained them too fast.
Would it be possible, on the subject of getting in there, Could Independence Ray try to figure out some kind of tactical plan using his military background or military specialty to create an advantage or a quality that we could take advantage of?
Trying to find an entrance.
Yeah, but best ways to get in there, anticipating possible defenses given what we see, that sort of thing.
Okay, give me a military or a. Well, yeah, you were saying military, so yeah, if you got military, give me an intelligence military. Oh, guess I need to give you a number to be opposing.
I've generated an 11 total.
Let's see. Better
Good
switch
roll.
it. Better switch it to a D6 instead of a D20.
Oh yeah, I did.
I believe I did that last week or last session.
I'm pretty sure that's my max roll there.
Yep, you rolled a 6. So. All right, so you beat it by 3.
Maybe we can call the quality a tactical assessment.
Okay, tactical assessment. It's a major success. And I believe that means you can tap it twice for free. Let's see. Learning, creating qualities. Yes, you can create. All right. So the team has a quality that you can now tap anytime you are interacting with any defense system. Basically, in defensive, when if you have to roll any kind of defenses against the base's security, you can tap this for a bonus. As Ray's basically outlined, kind of where weapons would probably be mounted, kind of telling you where specifically to be kind of watching out for. Now, is night shift just going to stay in that room? Is he going to spread out? Or are the rest of you going to begin looking for entrances or disabling the cameras? Or what is the battle plan here?
Yeah, I was going to ask if we wanted to surveil the rest of the facility. Or no, this is a machine shop, right? Yeah, it was a machine shop building.
Yes. The above ground area is.
If the alien has not noticed night shift, the night shift will, yes, begin traveling around and observing extra rooms and seeing if there's...
you in the minutes you've been talking upstairs, and you've got Masaki looking for similarities in their medical records. Excuse me. And Ray starts going over stuff y'all need to watch out for once y'all get underground, and all that biz. The potentially an alien seems to have finished up whatever checks it's doing. And is exiting the room.
Well, night shift will, I guess, follow.
Okay.
Because I do need to see more of the building, but also hope that there's no thing that will detect me.
Alright, so if you keep following the alien, it moves down this hallway. Hang on a second, I'll give you control of the mini. Alright, you should have moved night shade now, or night shift now, you want to. But basically it comes down here. There are more of those tanks.
That's promising.
Why did you want there to be more?
No, I just didn't.
Do you want this to be an all-in-once? So their entire program is here.
No, it would be nice to be able to save the kids rather than say, "Yep, nope, sorry, they ate them already."
They're in the same tanks.
Yeah,
they've still got the catheters. They've still got the breathing mask. There's no tubes leading out of them, or I should say, where the other ones had tubes in their arms that led out into that other tank. These still have tubes in their arms. They still lead out to the edge of the tube they're in, but then there's nothing continuing on from there, and the tubes seem to be empty.
So like they took an amount and then have set them to the side.
Yes, this looks more like a storage kind of area.
Okay.
The individual tubes are still look like they're functioning like the other ones did.
They've got to let them rebuild their blood supply. on
So yeah, they're taking blood out of people and then separating them off when there's enough blood taken, and making sure they live. So it's a farm, but like a really efficient farm.
Well, better a farm than a butcher shop,
that. I mean, it says something about the type of predators they are. Are they, gluttonous and just gonna eat, and destroy? Or are they gonna farm? And they're farming.
Look, they showed up.
Also,
Maybe they showed up millions of years ago, and we were barely upright, and they've been tweaking us ever since. So really, modern humans are just the domesticated version of the old stuff.
We should be thankful.
Well, let's start breaking in.
But anyway, you see this person walk into this room, and start taking start doing the same kind of checks on the ones here. And you saw side passages here. Crap, still got the drawing tool selected. Here we go. You've got side passages here, and you got
Yeah.
another room up here. The complex
But
is clearly.
I have not seen him walk past any like teammates or other work members.
No, not in this little area that you've seen him moving around in. No.
Okay.
It's also promising. Maybe there's not a lot of them yet.
All right. Well, is the above ground team ready to march on in?
I'm ready to go.
I'm ready.
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. So,
All right, then.
are y'all searching for entrances, or y'all just gonna try to bust through the floor or ceiling, depending on which side you're on, I guess.
This area where Night Shift first came down in, about how thick was the concrete that he passed?
If I'm not mistaken, I hit the sewer system and then went a little further.
Yes, the sewers. The sewers ran kind of under the back end here. You did see almost like from the angle you saw it, almost looked like a big pillar coming down through the sewer that you're sure was not an original part of the sewer system. That would have been like over here essentially. But you didn't check to see if the thing was if it was hollow, if it was solid, was it something they put there to support the
Go
building?
ahead and look there to see if it's some kind of elevator shaft. So like bonk.
And yes, this seems to be it makes you think of like a freight elevator.
All right, location found.
All right.
I don't think there's going to be a material strong enough to hold recluse back if they have some kind of lock on it. So go ahead and go buck wild.
Woohoo!
Because like, oh no, they've tried to trap you. I have no doubt recluse can break any trap they have.
Stasis field, he's frozen in time.
Dark
Generations
irony.
pass. When he finally wakes up, y'all are all standing around with big white beards.
Now it's Reckless 3000 AD. New title change.
Oh no, 2098. We have to be 1 year earlier.
All right, so Recluse is gonna try to bust in down here.
Yeah.
All right, and you've got what, an 8 strength now?
Yes, sir.
It doesn't even have to be a bust. Just find a way in.
Yeah.
And that's the shaft you can use.
Okay, well, if you're not going to break anything, then give me, let's see, what would a search roll be in this?
I think awareness.
Yes, awareness, and if you've got a specialty you think would help, let me know.
No, it just looks like a straight awareness roll for me.
Okay. And I'm not gonna make the difficulty too bad because you know there's got to be a way down here. You know, they've got an elevator. They've got to have a way to activate it. Yes. Okay, this cylinder would be, up under the garage. You look around the garage and you notice there's a control panel that it looks like the controls you would use for one of those I forget what they call the little hydraulic things. You basically you park the car on it and then it just lifts the entire car up.
Hydraulic jack.
Thank you. But this place doesn't seem to have one of those, but it's got a control panel that looks like one of those.
This is moderately suspicious. Pushes button.
The entire slab that the van is sitting on starts lowering.
Wow.
Everybody down the hole. Everybody down the hole. Hurry up now. Come on.
Like I said, it's like a freight elevator. And it's,
So did you,
this entire
know your way
10-foot
down
by
there?
15-foot area, so, it's plenty of room for the van. What were you saying, Curtis?
Oh, right.
I mean,
Oh, I was just asking
Mike.
if Recluse had tunneled his way into the freight elevator.
no, he found a
No.
control panel.
Okay. Oh, I see. So he's bringing it up to the
It
surface.
looked like the control panel that went to a piece of equipment that he didn't see laying around, so he went and investigated it.
Gotcha.
Night shift from where you're standing, you hear the elevator start coming down, and it's not super loud, but it does seem to catch this guy's attention, and he starts kind of wandering back over this way. Doesn't seem to have been a big rush. He's not reaching for his gun.
So far, it seems like he's the only one there. So far.
Anybody that wants to hop on the elevator can do so, can throw their miniatures down in this room.
Sure. Where's nature character sheets? Oh,
Come on, where are you?
Can I get novice, impulse, and overshield in there?
and Independence Ray, please.
Novice, Impulse, Overshield. Not Skywatch?
I'm gonna keep Skywatch and Unit up with Night Shift's body.
Okay.
Yeah, I dropped my top icon all on my own. I feel like a big boy now.
Should Independence Ray stay up for monitoring, or should he go down with everyone else?
Also, what's Mighty Psi 5 doing?
That too.
Okay, let's see. Independence Ray. I don't know. Do you want to go down with everybody else, or do you want to stay up?
What do people think? I think maybe Independence Ray hangs back in case Alien gets into some escape tube thing and tries to fly off, perhaps. Or if like reinforcements from if potential reinforcements come in from the surrounding area, I could cut them off. Does that sound like a good plan?
I mean, having someone up above to stop is fine.
All right, I'll go ahead and take that duty since I'm a flyer.
Let me clear the turn order.
Like, it'll probably be boring, but you can do it.
Well, it's all about the team plan. I'm not in this for the excitement.
And the freight elevator thing, the floor lowers in the shop, so it's still open. He can fly down without any trouble.
Yeah.
If something really goes down.
Oh, it's going down.
You're certain of that, huh?
I like the icons for the Make
Yeah,
5.
yeah. The only problem is the gray one on this mostly gray map. With
Right.
but because they have a transparent background, he fades into invisibility almost. Am I missing anybody? Oh, I think I'm missing blue.
Makes them look like those full body costumes you see at Halloween. The solid.
Oh yeah.
Morph suits.
Yeah, is that what they're called?
It's what some of the original ones that go big. Like they probably existed before, but Morph Suit is the company I know of that did them big for a while.
But y'all kind of have to squeeze in close together, especially since the van's still sitting there. So some of y'all are up on top of the van as this thing lowers. Though once it lowers a few feet, you know, like a lot of the cybernetic guys hop off the side because the sides of this room are clear, so you know people can't stand in the room while the elevator goes up and down.
Is the icon with the goggles, is that toss up?
The blonde with them, yes. I dropped Ray on the map, but he's up above, probably where y'all see, just so I can click on him and give him a turn and have him in the initiative order and stuff.
All right, I'm back. She needed a little bit of help in there. I'm not going to fighting sleep, fighting it like Muhammad Ali.
I can remember the days that I did that, and I don't know why.
Right? Shit,
Why would I
like,
fight sweet respite?
it's like the best part of existence, not being aware that you're alive.
Oh, sweet oblivion.
Now I fight to go to sleep at night sometimes, you know?
Right, yeah, right.
All right.
I'm going to use night shift for Unison's turn order since he's on the map. Yeah. Just getting that pre-prepped in case there's a fight.
In case.
There's a chance you could talk it out. I mean, y'all are outnumbering this guy 50-11 to 1, so, you know. But yeah, this guy walks. I keep saying guy, y'all don't know what it is, but you know, got his little pad out, rounds the corner, sees this mass of people, kind of goes, throws his hands up. The pad goes arcing through where night shift is standing.
Oh my God, we have someone reasonable to deal with.
And then he starts running down this way.
Oh, never mind.
The way his suit is set up, it looks like it's very awkward to run in. It's very kind of, you know, stiff-legged, kind of hopping back and forth as it's trying to
It
run.
won't be hard to
Almost a fast waddle.
Well, Impulse is going to chase after him because he might just be running for a teleporter.
Recluse is gonna hop on the ceiling and get her after him too.
Or he might be going for an alarm.
Fairly possible.
I'll chase after him also.
All right. Well, he's I wouldn't say he's going slow exactly, but he's not a sprinter. Probably very dangerous over long distances, but not a sprinter. All right. So we said Recluse was going after him. Toss Up was going after him.
Yeah.
Which one of the powerful Rangers was going after him?
Don't be rude. Red.
All right, Impulse.
Is that one of the new Crayola colors? Don't be rude, red.
If it's not, it should be. You can come out in the same box as put on your mask, purple. And Celestial Green is going to be sprinting down there with the rest of y'all. All the task force guys can do kind of the super leap, but He seems to be really good about like leaping over your heads and then springing off the walls of the hallway to keep going.
Stop running! We just want to talk to you about our Lord and Savior, Shelob!
It's making some sort of vocalizations, but it's not slowing down. Let's see, and it heads around that corner. But
Yes, my least favorite form of alien. Committing crimes, running away, not able to communicate with me.
oh yeah, I should probably give you control of all the rest of the U's.
No, having you do it for me is awfully nice.
Am I within web or tackling distance of him?
Oh, absolutely. Any of y'all could potentially try to tackle him, and you can certainly try to hit him with a web.
That's what I'm about to do.
Where's Night Shift going?
Well, he don't have a physical body. He's gonna keep looking at stuff.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
He's gonna see there's like a giant robot coming or some nonsense.
Then it's the number to beat.
And he did not beat it. So you were webbing him or diving on him?
Oh, webbing him.
Okay. So you get him in a, I believe, let's see, it's a moderate. So that gets him in a partial hold. So he can still act and do whatever he wants to, except move away from you until he makes an escape roll. Let me put the little net on him. There we go. All right, so y'all got him stuck in that position. Just a second while I draw some more stuff for Taylor to see.
I wonder which of us looks more intimidating to an alien.
Oh yay, it's more bodies.
Actually, those are empty tubes. It looks like the same kind of tube that holds people, but there are no people in these. Basically, the X's have people in them, the O's are empty ones. They're not currently full of liquid. They've still got all the kind of hosing and piping and stuff, but it's just kind of hanging in there. They look clean, but unused.
Noted.
Now, back over here where the... Alright, so you've got him webbed. Celestial Green has popped his... the kind of energy blade he's known for. He's kind of looking at y'all. Any of y'all pick or speak, blocky little waddling alien or whatever he speaks.
I'm afraid I don't.
I speak bits of Cantonese, but that's a long story, and no, I don't. You speak English, friend? Maybe
No.
Japanese?
Actually, it probably would. I don't know if it would speak English. Celestial Green says something to it in Japanese, and it speaks back to him.
What does he say?
That yes, he speaks Japanese.
All right, cool. Because guess what?
And other Earth languages, apparently.
Does he speak English? Oh, yeah, well, I'll ask, do you speak English?
I can speak it, yes.
It's a garbage language, I know, but way too many specialized rules.
How your species invented Esperanto, but never actually used it. Oh, tragedy.
So, few questions. Where'd you get the suit? Where are you from? And third question, why the giant tank of blood? Why the blood stealing? That's the big thing.
Let's see. You said why this, or you said who made the suit for you?
Yeah.
Where'd he get the suit?
My mother.
Aww.
Let's see. All right. List those questions off in order again. Who made,
Oh,
where'd
where
you get
did
the suit?
Where did you come from? Why the giant tank of blood? Why are you stealing blood? I mean, that's the big thing, really.
And let's hope that those last two answers are as cute as the first one.
I really don't want to say mom for why the giant tank of blood. That
Yeah.
would make me a little scared.
Mother's thirsty.
All right.
Mom,
Where'd you get the suit? My mother.
Where'd you come from?
Let's see. He rattles off a word that is clearly not English or Japanese. Hang on a second, I drop my pencil.
I look at Green. Green looks at me. Neither of us know the word.
Yep.
All right, let's narrow it down in a way that doesn't actually narrow it down. Are you from the Milky Way galaxy?
Not the entire galaxy, no. But, and he says that word again, is in the galaxy, yes.
Oh, completely unhelpful, but awesome. You are an alien.
To this world,
Now,
yes, I suppose. Oh, yes, but to
Now,
your...
about the blood.
Oh, the giant tank of blood is for storage.
Oh, okay, but why though?
Sorry, Impulse will stop from it. Rephrasing the question, for what purpose are you collecting a bunch of human blood?
We are harvesting it. Not stealing, because they can simply make more.
No, it's
Just because I can make more food for myself by farming does not mean if you steal it off my table, you're not stealing. Just because I have the ability to make more does not mean I always can.
The little helmeted
And you
head
take
tilts to one side. That makes certain logical sense.
Do you?
And also, the more illegal thing is holding them without permission, against their will. That's also against law.
Although they'll be released eventually.
Right, that's still...
And in better, truthfully, and probably in better health than when we caught them. They will benefit from this.
So did you think about, just saying, hey, we have a neat medical treatment, just, hang out in our tank, and the only payment we need is a small amount of your blood? Yeah, it's still a little dodgy, but...
No, let's just stop for a moment.
You couldn't have just opened...
We have detracted from the point. What use are you harvesting the blood for? We can get back to the moral implications of you thinking that taking away some autonomy is totally okay later. Right now, we just need to know why you're harvesting blood.
Oh, we need to use it.
Or...
Arts and crafts? No.
You're making something with blood.
Yes. Well, Yes.
Describe
We use
what
it in the process of creation. It's very complicated. You might not be able to understand it. But
Well, hold on. Impulse will think for a minute. In the human process of making steel, you can implement blood as a coolant, and the chemicals in the blood harden the steel while also making it more flexible. Is it something like that where you're using the blood in it to make a material better than it was?
oh yes, you do understand.
Great. Have you tried using the animal of a pig instead? Earth animal.
Oh yes, like the ones that wander in the street. Yes, not as good.
Ah.
Mother says they have no soul.
That's a sentence that implicates a lot of bad things.
Yeah.
Well, that explains why they didn't bother to open up a plasma donation center, as opposed to just taking the blood.
All right, so look, you're not from this planet, so I completely understand there may be some misunderstandings here, but on this planet, obviously there are different areas with different laws. You know the language, so you should be able to read the laws and what's legal and not. So why are you sneaking around taking people and doing this rather than like...
Oh, so we don't panic the locals.
We're
We take a few, we hold them for a while, we harvest some blood, and then we tag them and release them back into the wild.
You tag them.
Yes. So we can keep up and learn their migration patterns and such.
Oh boy.
It's nothing they'll ever notice.
I mean, the fact we're here shows that we noticed.
Not the tags.
No, but the kidnapping which panicked people. So you were wrong on the first part. Therefore, the continuation of your parts is moot.
Yeah, but as a culture, the entire culture is not panicked.
Not yet. No.
Well, if Mother simply showed up and said, "Greetings, Earthlings, give me your blood," there would be panic in the streets.
Right, but you could have gone, "Hello, Earthlings. We're communicating to you," and then describe the process and go, "Because of that, we would like to trade with your blood banks. You know, the places you store large amounts of blood. Anyway, you could have formed some sort of trade agreement rather than now making yourself an enemy."
You sound like the others. Mother says they're too slow.
Not sure I like his mother.
Oh, you're part of a cult. You're like an alien cult. Okay, got it. Let's shut the place down, boys.
Small religious organization? No.
Recluse punches him in the face.
Whoa. Okay.
How hard?
How hard do you need me to hit him?
Well, I mean, are you trying to take his head off at the shoulders, or just knock him out?
Even Impulse is surprised by how quick we're jumping to this.
Just enough to hurt him.
The helmet buckles in a little bit, and there's a loud kind of squealing noise from inside.
That seemed unnecessary, Recluse.
Physical violence is unnecessary. And an alarm starts sounding through the building.
Like you said, we're shutting it down. What was I supposed to think we were going to do?
Talk to him into letting the people out. Because I can't read the alien language yet.
Oh. We tend to solve all of our problems with incredible amounts of violence, so I just sort of jumped to that.
How does the
That's
Cybernetic
Use
react?
violence when violence is used on us.
Yeah.
That is a
does the
long haul. Impulse will stop from it. That is a long hallway. Oh, this is a much bigger building than I thought it was gonna be.
What are you trying to say, Mike?
Oh, how does I guess Celestial Green is the person on the scene? How does he react to all that? To Recluse giving a admonishing slap.
Actually, when Impulse starts chastising him, Celestial's kind of like, it lets him know we mean business. The alarm's a little worrying, but...
Yeah. What about the rest of Cyber 5? What are they doing?
Oh, yes, the rest of... Tyler, you can move your guys where you want to, but yeah, the rest of the Cyber 5 task force, Cybernetic 5, has...
I'm curious about whether they share our kind of cavalier response. treatment of this entity.
Well, hopefully one of them's great. I was hoping one of them would at least follow to the computers and let the AI start analyzing the language.
You know, that's not a bad ideal, and I think Blue was the
AI
techie guy.
Be a heck of a lot faster than me at it.
Yeah. And at some point, Masaki has gotten back with you about, she's not finding anything in their medical records.
Well, now that we know what the blood is being used for, it doesn't sound like it has to be a specific type or special.
She'd have probably dropped it in text format or something to not interrupt, y'all's conversations. But yeah, Blue would have wandered over and been looking at the tech because that's his thing. Because the blue one's the nerd. Let me see here. Down that incredibly long corridor, Night Shift sees these little side panels open, and what looks like robots are stepping out. They do not respond. They do not react to your presence.
And you said the tanks back here are all empty?
Yes, the ones back here are empty.
Cool. Call out to the team. Inform everyone that there are what seem to be autonomous robots marching in. And start positioning for it.
That'll be Ree's cue to head back down.
Meanwhile, up there, the guys going physical violence was unnecessary. I was answering your questions. Why did you strike me? Mother said you were primitive barbarians.
I mean, I've never stolen anyone's blood. I'll admit to.
We help them grow it back. Fresh blood is better for them. We're just taking the old stuff they don't really need.
See, the fact that you say that in such an excusing way makes me feel like you only really believe it because whoever this mom person is said it.
Well, she does, she is the one that teaches me.
There's so much worrying about your social inability to understand the concept that others can be equal to you that I'm very worried about your growth.
Oh,
Yeah,
many are equal to me. Many are superior to me. But you're a backwards people. You have some time before you catch up with most of the universe.
Right, but here's the thing is, it doesn't matter technologically wise, just moralistically and in governance, you seem to not understand to allow the autonomy of others. You just took away, the ability for a being that understands itself to make decisions for itself. You made a decision for it when you could have just asked.
It'll be a few months out of a lifespan of decades. It's not really hurting them.
Normally, I would say listen to your
And
mother,
there you
but
go
in this
again
case,
and there you go again, excusing your actions by saying, "Well, it's only this." You're only going to ramp up and say it was only this more and more until there is an issue, as your demand for blood increases.
Oh, you're a very populous planet. I'm sure you can keep up with demand.
Right, see, there's the excuse again. You're just trying to find whatever's convenient for you to keep doing whatever it is you've been doing. Despite the fact that the very things you're doing it to say, hey, you shouldn't be doing this way.
I'm not sure if Mother would want me listening to you. I'll just scroll down a little bit. And by that point, you start to hear kind of, marching coming around
Yeah,
the
we know the
corners.
robots are coming.
Yeah. You see the guys that are down here now.
So for the record, none of this is my fault. We all agree on that.
You have never done anything wrong, and I love you. Well, okay, admittedly, you striking him randomly isn't wrong, but it was foolish. It was foolhardy, and we're having to deal with the consequences of it, but it was not the wrong thing to do.
Sometimes it's okay to punch.
You committed violence against someone who did a criminal act. It's understandable. Now we have to fight robots, which I'm not complaining about.
Alright, speaking of fighting robots, go ahead and give me initiative rolls. Which is coordination rolls, and if you have military or some tactics, something. There's a specialty that factors into it. I think military.
Yes. Oh, that's not a good roll.
Let's see. That's weird. I thought we had a...
Bum, bum, bum.
Ah, there we go. Alright, so the robots go on a coordination of 3. Plus military. Alright, so those guys go on to 7. Toss up goes on a 10. Independence Ray goes on a 7. Recluse goes on an 11. Unison goes on a 12.
Alright.
Oh yes, and then the Mighty Task Force fellas. They have a coordination of... Coordination of 7. I knew they were pretty good. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright. So green, celestial green goes on 11. Let's see. Kurigo goes on a 10. Pinkuni goes on a 10. Hakiichi goes on a 8. Kion goes on a 13. And for the rest of this combat, I will probably just call them by their colors. And blue goes on an 8, but he's in a different room, so it doesn't really matter. And the guy you're talking to also goes with a 7. Descending order. Alright, so top of the order is yellow of this yellow 4 of the Cybernetic 5. Let's see here. She moves past Impulse to go engage this one over here. And I'm not going to do all the dice rolling, so it'll be kind of cinematic for them. Basically, if the fight goes badly for y'all, it's going to go badly for them too. Otherwise, it's, you know, a big combat that's going to be half NPCs. Next up is Unison.
Well, Impulse will go ahead and, you know, say a quick sentence to the alien who has not mentioned his name.
Y'all never asked?
Yeah. Anyway, I apologize for the robots we are about to break. But there's so many laws you've broken in quick succession that I really don't feel bad about it. And also, your mother's going to be a wanted criminal after this. And now he will fire a shot off at a robot.
Okay. Show me which robot you're going after. Okay.
Orange circle.
Orange circle's fine.
And one quick T-blast, and we'll see how it goes. I'm so scared these are going to be crazy strong robots.
I'm sure they're not crazy strong robots. Your Piddly Blast does nothing to it.
I wouldn't be surprised. My Piddly Blast don't do much to much. I really gotta start working its strength up.
Okay. And it's versus coordination to avoid. He's got a coordination of 3, but he's got some skills programmed in. Alright, so it's a tie. You do half damage.
So 3 hull damage?
Yeah, that doesn't do anything to him.
Yeah,
You scuff some of his armor plating with that blast.
Is Overshield in a position to walk down the corridor and pop a shot?
Overshield is the purple one?
Purple. Close to the top.
Yes, yeah, because you've only got to get back here.
Yeah, so
Given all the people in the way and the distance, I would give you a -2 on the to hit roll.
Alright then. I'm going to roll it and then, you know, with my voice add the -2. Oh no, I'll just toss a modifier on it. Bam, there we go. Modifier's on it already.
Alright. And
I forgot
6
I
was,
just changed the
6 was the number to beat. You rolled a 6,
Yeah.
so that's a tie. Half damage again. Doesn't get through the armor plating.
It's not working great. Novice will pop a shot at a robot in the top right. Doing orange circle. You got it?
Got you. I got you.
Alright. That one's got a shot.
Let's see here.
Hey, 6 damage.
Alright, 6
Definitely
damage
beat
gets
that.
through its armor. It does actually take some damage.
Okay. Then I will state it will take, you know, a decent chunk above human punching force.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing none of us are are at that level
And
yet.
it appears to have taken a significant amount of damage. You know, once you punch through the armor plating, you're not sure that there's really much to it underneath that.
And Night Shift will continue down this long hallway.
Okay. Yeah, if he ain't doing nothing but flying, he can get down there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend his flight is slow enough to not immediately pass through this. you know, it's a building. He moves at helicopter speed. He can get wherever he wants in this place pretty quick.
Yeah. All right.
Most of the whole being careful thing was not wanting like some kind of ghost radar to catch him.
That's right, because you have run into that before with alien tech.
Looks like a helipad of some sort. Or the start of a helipad.
Now, despite how fast you can move, you're not going to be moving at full helicopter speed in a place because you want to actually see your surroundings.
Yeah, I'm fine with stopping at this intermediary.
All right, do you have any other U's going to do anything?
Not that have anything going on.
Okay. Let's see. All right, so that drops to Celestial Green, who jumps over here and starts fighting with this one. And he appears to be doing a little damage to it. Recluse.
Recluse is gonna jump on the one Celestial Green is currently engaged with.
Okay.
And just do a little bit of punchy.
10 is the number to beat. Alright, so that's a tie, so you do half damage. Your strength is an 8.
That's 4 damage.
Alright, let's see. Minus its armor. Okay, you do some damage to it. And it looked like green had done a little damage to it. So it's not looking in great shape.
And for my second go, I think I'll try and web up some of that mounted weaponry it has.
Okay. Yeah, because the gun is starting to swivel around towards some of y'all.
Yeah. 11 is the number to beat.
And he didn't.
Nope. Alright, so yeah, you've got the gun gummed up. It will have to take an action to free the gun before it can use the gun. Then it is pink and gray, or pink and black go next. Both of them beeline over to the one yellow is fighting, and they quickly surround it and are pummeling it with their enhanced strength. It's like they get on 3 sides of it, and they just it's like they're almost kind of rotating around it, in a very choreographed looking fight. But there's 3 of them, and they're in constant motion, so the thing seems to be having a hard time choosing who to focus on and tracking them. Let's see, with them 2, toss up.
I'm going to use my gadgeteering, and I am going to try to make throw together an EMP blaster.
Okay.
Which I guess, power-wise, I guess it was electrical controlled with disrupt.
Or stun with, like a stun with a limit only against electronics or AIs or artificial or something.
Yeah, I've got worries about what you're making there, champ.
Well, we're fighting a robot.
And we're helping a half-robot team.
Well, he
It's a
won't shoot
blaster.
them.
Oh,
Yeah,
they are
like-
cybernetic. That's true.
Is it like it shoots a wave, or is it an explosion of it?
Just a ray is what I'm hoping
Okay,
for.
as
Or
long as it's
taser.
targeted, I'm fine.
Something targeted. I'm not going to...
EMP grenades might be bad.
Yeah, I thought he was just gonna drop a little EMP bomb on us and just be like, whoop. Got rid of the enemies. All of our allies are dead now. The AI is very angry.
Suddenly becomes an episode of The Boys.
We don't want we don't want an angry AI. We know that's always bad.
All right, now does that require? I know it takes a turn to do. Does it require a roll?
To do the gadget.
I know magic does. I can't remember if the gadgeteering does or not.
Sure.
I'll move on while you're doing that. Let's see.
Yeah.
Blue's out of the room and doing something. Red moves over here with the rest of his team. And they take that one out. Oh, then it's the robot's turn. Both of these two. Let's see. I take that back. One of these targets impulse. The other one targets overshield. Overwatch? No. Overshield's purple in it. Tyler?
Yes.
The purple one's overshield, right?
Yes.
Okay. He's the one you seem to do the least with, so I have to remember his name. Alright, so that one shoot at impulse. The number to beat is 11.
Huh. Gonna be coordination?
Yes.
Man. Sucks to be me.
You rolled an 8. Oh wait, that's right. Versus an 11 though. I was looking at what he actually rolled on the dice and not the
So how much damage?
That is 5 points for damage.
Whoo. My carapace, which hasn't been used in a while, can take that hit and not have me take any damage. So overshield still exists.
Well, that was impulse he was shooting at.
Sorry, impulse still exists.
Yeah. How thick is your carapace?
5, and it degrades.
But that means it's 4 next time, not... It goes down once every time it's used, right?
Right.
Okay. I want to make sure it wasn't like you had this many points of it, and so the 5 shot took care of it all.
No, it would just be a damage reduction of 4 next time.
Alright, so the other one is shooting at overshield.
Gets out of the way.
Yes, he does.
Beats 7 with a 10.
This one over here takes a swing at... Recluse probably hit it the hardest. So it's going to take a swing at him with this like big pincered hand, I think is what they've got. Zoom in. Yeah. He's got one. Well, he's got one gun arm and then one kind of pincer arm. The gun arm actually looks like it's some sort of mini missile launcher, though. So in melee combat, he's going to go with the pincher hand. The number to beat is 6, which Zach could beat, or Recluse could beat with a 1. So yeah. So you'll embarrass him, and then we'll move on. The two up here are both going to shoot at Novice. Wow. He may get off lucky.
Bam! Dodge, dodge. My base is a 6, so I know I dodged them both.
And then Mother's Boy here is going to go. And what is the strength of your webbing, Zach?
It is 6.
These
All right, give me a
aren't space
D6
vampires.
plus 6 roll.
a meaty boy.
Well, what he has done is that sidearm that he hadn't gone for yet. He pulls that out and starts using some sort of energy weapon. He's using it to burn off the webbing, but he doesn't quite get enough of it off to be able to, get loose this round. But that's what he spends his turn doing. Independence Ray.
Yeah, so I'm noticing I don't really see anything like a Green Lantern power where you can like create shields out of. I mean, there's force field, but that protects you personally. But I don't see anything like I don't immediately see an ability that lets you like create like an energy wall, for example.
Like a barrier or something?
Yeah, I was just wondering if I was toying with the possibility of power stunting that with my leg control power. But if that's barring that, I think until I figure out how to do that, I think I might just simply fly into the field of battle.
Okay.
And blast one of those at one of the two robots in the southern quadrant. And first, let me get my. Would you mind placing my
absolutely.
icon? Yeah, I think I'll just be like in the center, so I can anywhere where I can where some vantage point where I can maybe. Let's say the square that's up and to the left of impulse. So maybe one up.
Up and to the left, so like right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way I could.
And I think I pulled that off your sheet, so you should have control of it.
Oh, great! Thank you.
Let me double check.
Okay, but I think I'll try to light blast the robot below me on the left.
Okay.
So let's see what happens. Yeah, where's my blast? There it is. There it goes. Nope, not great roll. I generated an 8 total.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
All right, they just managed to avoid it.
Yeah.
All right, and then yellow. Let's see. Move down into the darkness. And y'all get a glimpse of her kind of coming up behind him. But she's essentially using her movement to stealth. She's not just running full bore up behind her where they hear her coming. So she's kind of stealthing up behind him, it looks like. Unison.
Yo.
Oops.
Oh, alright. I was just gonna do a quick diagonal at the bottom to get a full view of the big area.
Alright.
And if there's nothing to pay attention to, other than it's a big empty room, he'll continue along on his journey.
It appears to be a big empty room. This is clearly some sort of landing bay, landing pad. You don't see any scorch marks or anything. There are a few crates of stuff over along the edges. Like shipping crate size. Some of the crates appear to be open and are empty, and then some of them appear to still be closed. Well, they would be blocking the door, but still be closed up. Kind of pushed up against the wall so it's not in the way of whatever would be landing and taking off here.
Alright, and then go in catty corner, because it's just boxes. I mean, I'm not going to examine them. Go catty corner, back to the other hallway.
Okay.
Because that looks to be about, the shape looks like this is going to be a hallway that attaches to where they're fighting the robot. Just make sure there's not Oh, nope, it's just an end of a room. Okay.
There are controls in here. This appears to be another elevator lift.
Ah.
You're pretty sure that it would come up across the street from the garage?
Great. Well, time to start shooting.
Alright.
Impulse will go ahead and shoot at the robot he had shot at before. And didn't do anything to.
Okay.
Man, I wish I could roll better than an 8.
Half damage.
Overshield will take a more clear shot at the robot novice shot.
Which is okay. Gotcha. Okay, that's a hit.
Does 6.
Let's see, does 6. And that one had already taken some damage. It goes away.
And novice will shoot at the one right above it.
Okay. 8 is the number to beat.
12 is the number that hit it. Which means it will be slammed.
Potentially slammed. Potentially.
Right.
Alright, so roll a d6 plus your damage versus its strength. So 7 is the number you need to beat. Or whatever you roll is the number it needs to beat. But it got a 7.
Used to be 12.
It did not
beat
beat a 12. It did not. Alright. Minus it. So you did 6 points of damage to it, minus its armor. And you slammed it. So it smashes into this canister back here. You know, one of those storage tubes. The tube does not shatter like glass. It kind of flexes in and crumples up. It's almost like it's some kind of plastic or something more flexible and durable than glass.
I'm not going to call it transparent aluminum. But
Nobody was asking you to call it transparent aluminum.
I feel like you were trying to pressure me to.
No, you're making that trick reference all on your own. I was really thinking of it as being some sort of plastic.
Okay.
I mean, it's transparent plastic that makes you feel any better.
Be that as it may,
All
my
right.
turn is over.
Okay, then it is Celestial Green. Oh yeah, Green has done, let's see, I think I said he did a little damage to it. The last round, so it's got some marks on it. But it seems to be mildly resistant to his weaponry, so he's going to try, and this will be something I do roll for him. He's going to try to put a condition on it. It will resist with a 4. Alright. He's going to put the... what would we call it? We'll call it a setup quality on it. Basically, he's acting as more of a distraction, and he's setting it up for a recluse or anybody else that wants to come along to get in a good lick on it. With that roll, you have 3 of them you can tap for free.
Nice.
He's a team player.
That's sorry. What was the quality that he created again?
Setup.
Oh, okay.
And then it's Recluse's turn.
All right, I'm going to tap one of those setups to
Okay.
give me some extra damage.
Okay.
Gonna
Confident in your ability to hit, you want to hit harder.
Yep.
It's fair.
And that'd be a +1 or a +2?
For
Plus
damage,
one.
+1.
Alright. 14 is the number to beat.
All right, he rolled a 10, so you beat him by 4.
Did 9 damage.
It's also a potential slam, but the 9 damage is more than enough to take him out.
And
he
for my
goes
next
flying.
trick, I'm going to try and yank Bizorp's ray gun out of his hand with a web line.
Okay. Alright, so you beat him by 1. And given y'all's comparative strengths, I ain't gonna make you roll. The gun goes flying.
I'm trying to pull it right to my hand. Just to send a message.
Hey, you catch it. I am picturing a weapon that looks like... Have you ever seen like an old school blunderbuss pistol?
Yes.
But like a high-tech version of that. But, you know, the kind of big, thick barrel with a wide opening. But I'm only thinking about it because in one of my Meat Space games last night, one of the guys brought a blunderbuss he just bought offline.
Oh, why?
Yeah, he's a gun collector, and it was way cheaper than you usually find something that old. Because it was not a reproduction.
Oh, wow.
Now, all the wood on it was about ruined, and, you know.
Need some work done on it.
Yeah. The wood basically needs replacing, probably, if you wanted to actually shoot it. All the brass on it, though, was in pretty good shape.
Ooh.
It was kind of neat.
What Elmer Fudd used. Kind of.
You know, well, you had like pistol versions and rifle versions. Because I know in some of the Batman books, Alfred basically had like the rifle version of a blunderbuss that he would use to guard the Batcave with. Or that he would go grab off the mantle if somebody was coming into the mansion. Alright, so that was Recluse. Alright, then it is Pink 2's turn. She comes circling around in here. And basically kind of squeezes into this corner here. You know, taking cover, clearly planning to charge out shortly, but let's see. And then Black 5. He's actually going to stealth around with Yellow. So you see them kind of creeping out of the shadows from behind the robots. Toss up.
Yes, I have to roll on my gadget.
Okay.
My gadgeteering is only level 5, so I'm going to go ahead and make it a level 5, and I have to make an intellect roll to beat
Okay.
that.
Does he have any specialties that would help him?
No, but he really doesn't need it because my intellect is 5, so unless I'm at a penalty, I can't miss making my gadget.
Well, let's see. I would roll the difficulty for that based on the ranks you were trying to make, so 5. Oh, but you rolled a 6, so yeah, okay, I got you. Yes, you make the gadget with no trouble. Or I should say you have made the gadget. You've got it. It's ready to use now.
And I will... It's only one robot where I'm at, right?
You can see these two down here.
Yeah, there's others, but I'm...
You can hear you can hear the gunfire or the exchange of blasts and whatnot from up here, but you only have those two down there in sight.
I will shoot the one closest to me.
Okay.
Or shoot at the one closest to me.
that's a hit. And does this use willpower or their strength to resist? I think you decide when you make stun.
Oh, I'll go with willpower, I guess.
Okay. Alright, so give me a d6 plus 5 roll.
Choose wisely.
Give me a d6 plus 5 roll will be what you need for the, or what they need. You'll be setting their difficulty, basically. Alright, so 7 is the number to beat.
Where's my other 5? I kept rolling 5s.
They roll max, and that's still not enough, because they have no willpower. They just have the straight d6 roll. And if I recall, stun kind of works like damage. Let me see here. It's coordination versus coordination to hit the target. Yeah.
They may just be stunned for the power level.
Test your target's strength or willpower chosen when you take the power. Failure or marginal means no effect. Moderate, which is what this would be, means the target can take no actions for 1 page. So he's stunned for a page. He cannot return fire this turn. Let's see. Blue's still working. Red sneaks around here, or runs around here, and him and Pink are kind of Scooby-Dooing around the corner to see what's, see what the robots are doing before they rush out. It looks like a well-practiced maneuver. Then it's the robots. Alright, so this one here does not get an action this go round. This one sensed his buddy go offline briefly, so he is going to assume toss-up is a major threat. And take a shot at toss-up. $11 is the number to beat.
He's shooting at me, right?
Right.
So I dodge, not block.
Oh, and you get out of the way.
And toss-up proves himself to be a major threat by dodging.
Alright, next up is that guy. Zach, give me a d6 plus 5 roll if you would.
Not a problem. Oh no.
Oh yeah. And the juice is loose. Alright. Basically, he out of the armor's gauntlet, he produces some sort of little blade. Doesn't look like a knife. Looks more like a utility knife sort of thing, It doesn't look like a weapon that was concealed in the gauntlet. It looks like a tool, but the little bit of webbing that he hadn't burned away the previous round, he manages to cut loose. And he moves over here past Recluse and Celestial Green and kind of stands in the corner. Except the map's not lined up right, so he won't perfectly stand in the corner. But if you see on the map this little area that if you squint, it says access. Yeah, he stands on that.
Uh-oh.
He stands on that, hits a button on the wall, you hear kind of a psss, and he goes, shoot.
Oh. Isn't he's swept away from the corridor?
Well, it's like that corner is some sort of express lift.
Okay.
The sound is actually pretty similar to the sound the cargo lift made, but and the
new
floor
friend.
literally lifts him up through the ceiling.
Let's see.
He's going up.
Yes.
Well, we have people above ground, so it is now their time to move, I guess.
And even though I came back down, I can pursue easily enough,
Mm-hmm.
which I plan to do momentarily, I think.
And it is Independence Ray's turn, so.
All right, I'll go into hot pursuit, try to fly after the alien.
Okay. You zip out and, just roughly guessing, this area would be under the street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where the lift is under the garage that y'all had found. Yeah, that lift would probably be going up into the street.
Okay.
Or under the street, however you want to look at it.
Okay. I'd like to follow, and then I don't want to blast at him right now because it would be, precariously tight quarters. But like as soon as he emerges to the surface, that may be a good time for me to try to blast and stop whatever. I guess it depends on what's waiting from up there. If there's like an escape vehicle of some kind, but I'll just follow him for now and like maybe hold my action until I see something that's a good opportunity to take a shot at him.
Give me an awareness roll.
Sure. Generated an 8 total.
Okay. And 8 was the number to beat, so that's a tie. You get to the surface and you do not see him.
Okay. I just realized too late I should have activated one of my tactical free tabs, but oh well. Maybe
I'll go ahead and let you do that. I'll go ahead and let you do that.
Oh, okay.
All right, so that gives you a +2. So yeah, you get to the surface and you don't see him, but you realize there's probably some of the sewer system under these streets too. So he may have gone up into the sewers and not all the way to the surface.
Of course.
But you spot a manhole where you can get, next turn you can be down in the sewer without too much trouble.
Okay. Then I'll light the place up and see what I see.
So basically, you zip out of there like a bolt of lightning. Realize you don't see him, and then you drop down on that manhole cover. It's next round you can flip that sucker open.
Awesome.
Because in comics they flip them things open like they're weightless.
They are not.
They are not. But this is comic based, so. Alright, so yellow creeps up. Well, actually, we'll let yellow creep up behind the one that's not. Actually, she's going to kind of hold her action, and her and Black are going to work together and creep up behind one and try to take it out. Unison.
You're still. I kind of expected those two robots in that hallway to have gotten in engagement range by now.
I am sorry. I forgot all about moving them when it was the robot's turn.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, so the ones over here, this guy would have spent his turn getting back up, because getting knocked back, he was prone.
That's fair.
I want to move him a step away, but basically that's just where he stood up. And you are right, these two would be rounding the corner now. I'm going to say they march out to about here. And I've probably gone 2 rounds without moving them, so I'm going to go ahead and let them get a shot. Both of them shoot at Novice just because he's the closest.
Poor boy.
Poor boy.
Poor exactly the same age as every single other one of them, boy. He takes the first hit.
No, the first one you had to dodge was a 6, and you rolled an 8.
Oh, my bad. You rolled both of them
Right.
back to back. Okay, sorry. Dodge the first. Takes the second.
Takes a second. So I think we had established that they survive 1 shot.
Yep. So Novice is now
Yeah.
going to get hit by the next one.
Well, no, that was me firing both the guys. They only get the 1 shot. They only get 1 shot.
Yeah, I
think,
just mean then if he gets
Oh,
hit by
gotcha,
another
gotcha,
one,
yeah.
he's out.
And that is with the shoulder-mounted gun. None of them have fired the big arm missile launcher-looking thing.
Yeah, but they probably won't because they don't want to break the blood supply they already have here.
That's true. The concussive force of shockwaves is probably not a good thing. Though I don't know, seeing as these things are more the tubes are more plasticky than metal or glass rather, they might be all right. All right, celestial green. Goes around here and does that same kind of, kind of takes cover and looks to see where everybody is set up. You get the impression that these two are still up next round. They're going to have the entire squad kind of jump them. Recluse.
Wait, did my turn get skipped?
Did it?
You
Think
shot at me
so.
and then made other people go.
Oh, yeah. How about
I
that?
mentioned that the robots that went on a 7.
Oh,
should
I'm
have
sorry. I thought you were giving them your turn. My bad. Complete misunderstanding.
That felt a little early. That felt a little
Okay,
early.
well, Novice and Overshield will pop 2 shots at the robot most front towards them that just entered in.
Okay.
So dare on the orange circle. Shot. 8 and a 12.
Okay. And they will dodge with a 7, so that one hits. And a 7, so that one also hits. That one really hits.
And potentially slams. So I'll go ahead and give you the 10 for the slam.
Versus their strength.
So he slams into the unit behind him.
I'll give the one behind him a dodge. Let's see what would the difficulty be of that. How bad did you beat his?
By 3
All right, we'll give
on
him
the
a,
strength
we'll
test.
give him a D6 plus 3 then. Yep, into the guy behind him.
Neat.
Doesn't do enough damage to really get through his armor. But basically, I'm going to say it pushes both of them back, knocks them or no, it doesn't push this guy back. It just knocks him prone while this guy goes flying past him.
It has done a condition, which is more than I could have asked for.
Yeah. Those two watch the next round standing up.
Oh, that thing took 2 hits and didn't drop? Uh-oh.
Well, now the one you hit before was in the back. I thought you were hitting one of the ones in the front here.
Yes, I did 2 blasts, an 8 and a 12. You rolled a 7 and a 7. That was Novice and Overshield shooting.
Oh! I got you. I got caught up in the.
In the slam.
Yeah.
I got you.
All right, so but both of them
Yeah,
did full
those-
damage.
Yeah, the first one was just a regular hit. The second one was the slam.
Okay, so that's.
So it was basically the broken parts.
All right, you're right. Yeah, the one that. Let's see, that one did not take any damage. He just got knocked prone, so he's at full. But yes, the one that actually got slammed is indeed out. You're right.
And Novice will shout to Blue up above if there's any progress. You know, if there's enough letters being shown to progress any kind of translation.
Masaki's trying to interact directly with the computer code. Apparently, binary is universal. But then she said something about trinary, so yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. I don't know how it's going.
Impulse will pop a shot at the same robot he's been popping shots at.
Okay.
Bang. Please let Impulse hit once.
Denied.
Poor Impulse.
Okay, so that's a miss.
And above ground, the group will be looking to see if that elevator popped.
How many of you are there upstairs?
Unit and Skywatch.
Okay. You do not see anybody hit the surface. You see Ray fly out. Paul, kind of slow down for a second, like he's looking, and then dive for the.
Yeah, I
manhole
probably
cover.
should indicate that. I probably should have that I'm heading for the sewers. Right, it seems to make sense to let people know where I think our friend has escaped to.
Yeah. Skywatch will drop then into. Pop a ghost out and be following Independence. Or following Ray. Guess I should have asked which one-word name you would prefer.
Nah, Ray's good. That's my birth name anyway. So.
No, he wants to be called Indy.
Indy.
We call the dog Indy.
Yeah.
So basically, your two on the surface are just going to follow Ray.
Well, Unit's gonna stay up and about just to, carry and watch a body. Well, two bodies now, but Skywatch will follow as to give moment-to-moment location for the rest to follow on easily.
All right.
I would also like to.
I guess now
light
it's.
up-
All right.
I'm sorry. What were you about to say though?
Oh, I think I'd also like to light up the sewers so it'll be easy to spot. And
Oh, yeah,
also
yeah,
easy
yeah.
to hear them.
Sounds good.
Yeah, as soon as you get down there, because you're already kind of glowing, you can flare up without too much trouble.
Yeah, not full on dazzle, but yeah.
You just light up a room when you walk in. Look at that big smile on your miniature. Okay, and what were you saying, Tyler?
I think now it's Recluse's turn.
Yes, now it's Recluse's turn.
Alright. He was just gonna bunny hop over here and try to web both these guys up.
Okay.
Nine and 8 are the numbers to beat.
They can theoretically do it.
Oh.
Alright, so one is a tie. And in this case, I think a tie will do nothing, but let me look up the individual power. Let's see, binding. Nope, I'm mistaken. It's a partial hold. A moderate success would be a partial hold, and they have a -2 to do other stuff. Okay. But the material strength of the binding is halved. So you've got a partial hold on him, but it'll be easier for him to break out than it would usually be.
Yeah.
You only got him with a few strands of it, not the full dosage. Okay. Then green, pink, black, and yellow is holding their actions. So they all pour out and gang up on the stunned one. That's weird. I must have plussed. When I put damage on him earlier, I must have done a plus instead of a minus. Because he's got more health now than they have to start with. Or had he taken any damage? Maybe I just put down too much health to begin with. But the three of them wailing on him puts him down. Toss up.
There's the one that shot at me is still up, isn't he?
Correct.
It's not the one recluse webbed.
We tried to web both of them. Was it the first one or the second one that was successful? Was the second one? No, the first. Let's see. Yeah, the first one. The first one is the one with the partial hold with the half strength webbing.
Yeah, I'll try and stun the one that we've got the partial hold on.
Okay. Oh, and you both rolled excellent, but you rolled a little better, so that's a hit. He resists it with his lack of willpower versus the D6 plus 5 for your stun. Alright, so you beat him by 2, which on a stun for sure means 1 round, possibly more. Let's see, stunning, so that's a moderate success. Or, let's see. Hardens a tie. So, yeah, moderate would be 1 or 2. And you beat him by 2, so yeah, okay. So he is stunned for a page. He can take no actions. Which probably means he is done.
Give the others a little bit of time to gang up on him and take them out.
Let's see, it's Red's turn. Red comes down here and starts the process. It's not enough to take it out, but he's doing it. He's taking some damage. And Red calls out to the rest of y'all, hey, I'm sure we've got this one if y'all want to peel off and help help with whatever novice and Overshield are fighting. And it is like 5-on-1 at this point, so down here. So.
Yeah. That seems like the decent sort of thing to do.
Overshield looks slightly to the right. I mean, we're almost done over here. It's only 4. I mean, 2 now.
Oh, what has Night Shift been doing all this time? I think we've gone a round or 2 without moving him.
I guess he will go to the nearest one of those tubes and just go, try to follow its path best he can.
Okay. You had noticed one of those accesses over here.
Yeah. He'll go straight up to see if it's a exit level or if it's just some kind of...
It exits into the sewers.
Well, then it is time to fly through the sewers, see if I can see little alien boy.
Okay.
Or little alien. I mean, I guess since they call one mother, there is some form of either sex or gender. But I don't know. Though he may just be using a term that's close to... Not the time to think about aliens.
That's true. He was translating things into your language.
Right. Could just be using common terms so that I have a reference point rather than an actual understanding.
Alright, but after Red, it's the robot. And that one's stunned. He can't do anything. This one here is just standing back up. This one marches forward, takes a shot at Impulse. I mean, at Novice, though.
Oh no. Novice is the one that
yes.
could die.
Wahahaha. 7's the number to beat. He should be able to do that. If he can't, he deserves what he gets.
Not. That's a little rude, and Novice dodges it.
And then it's Mama's Boy, wherever he's at. And then we are back to Independence Ray.
All right. So I'm going to light up the sewers as best I'm able, and then just try to look and see if I can find if I can track down.
Okay, give me an awareness roll while you basically start searching the sewers.
Okay, I'm going to use the last of my free taps of tactical assessment.
That's fine.
So I'll enter this roll in.
You start thinking about, okay, if I had an underground facility and I had an escape tunnel, where would it drop me out? Which way would I probably go from there?
Yeah. So awareness is 4 plus 2, so 1d6 plus 6. And I've generated a 10 total.
And this poor little fella doesn't have a whole lot in the way of stealth. Well, he's got an okay coordination, though. Well, he didn't do bad. He didn't do bad. Yeah, I mean, you beat him, but... So, yeah, you flip the manhole cover, you drop down. Not quite all the way, because you don't want to get your boots in whatever's under here.
Mm-hmm.
And sure enough, you see him off in the distance.
Yeah, I'm definitely flying over the muck. If I have room for it.
And he's to one side of the muck. He's on kind of the... He's not in, like, the trough down the center or whatever.
Yeah. And as I see him, I'll try to, like the way... have I noticed any of my teammates in the sewers yet, or am I still at the point?
As you were flipping it over and dropping down, you may have seen... we can say that you saw Skywatch headed that way.
Okay.
And, he may have said something over the comms, too. I don't know. Y'all do have comms.
Okay. Here's a question. Before, I power stunted to create a force field around Marcus when he was being targeted during the amusement park battle. Could I do something similar where I just envelop the alien in a kind of a glow field, just to basically mark him so that he's easy to spot? Or would I have to keep? Would this be something where I'd have to always keep him in line of sight?
You'd probably have to keep him in line of sight. Because the way your powers work, it's not like you'd be putting something on him that would just kind of stay there. You'd just be kind of making that spot glow.
What I could do is maybe just send power bursts, just fire power bursts in his direction. Not necessarily to even hit the alien, but just to mark his location for everyone else. So they know where to go. And of course, I'll keep pursuing. Actually, practically, I'll probably be most likely just to be able to catch up with him, given my flight speed. Does that sound right?
Yeah, you could absolutely this round catch up with him. His only hope was that you didn't spot him.
Yeah. In that case, I might just fly up to him and keep my glow on and just basically say, we're gonna have to continue this talk. There's really no point in running away yet. There's really no point in running now. And just wait see if I can stall him long enough for everyone else to catch up.
You tell him that, but he doesn't stop.
Okay. Well, I'll just keep following.
He starts making kind of shooing motions with one hand.
Oh.
Go help your friends. Go help your friends.
You really don't want to have to blast this guy. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see if he persists. We'll see what happens. Maybe I should just dazzle him. See if that stops him if he can't see. But I can worry about that next round.
Or he might stumble over into the sewage, and you might have to go in there and fish him out.
Oh boy.
Yuck.
Let's hope not. That's when
I'm just picturing Ray. He falls in the sewer. Ray just looks at him. Well, he got away. Sorry, guys, he got away.
That or I plead my case for power stunting telekinesis.
Which, if you want to branch into Green Lantern sort of stuff, works fine.
Yeah, I've thought about it, but I'm not sure if I'm ready to go there yet. I do. I mean, I've got determination to spare. So, but yeah, I might just try dazzle attack next round.
Okay. All right. And then the other one goes, and she moves up and wailing on the robot. Basically, I'm going to skip the Mighty Task Force, because, I mean, they're going to take that guy out. You know, there's 5 of them piling on him. They're going to take him out. So, Unison.
Novice pop a shot at the most front. Robot.
Alright.
Bonk. Hey, he got bonked.
Yep, he got bonked. Only by
Now, is
2,
that
so... Not
yeah,
a...
is that the one that got slammed earlier?
Oh, yes, he has already taken damage, though, so he goes down.
Yeah. And Overshield will pop shot at the other one.
Okay. And he avoids it.
Does Impulse have the time to turn a corner and pop a shot at it? From here to here?
Yeah, I'd say he did.
Okay. Bonk.
No bonk.
No bonk. Good job, Max, rolling twice, though. Alright, then, up with Skywatch. Skywatch will... I don't know, Night Shift will pop back to his body.
Okay. He wakes up
And
wherever
then,
y'all had him.
and then naturally fly, following the path that Independence Ray and Skywatch have made.
Okay, so Skywatch is under there,
As a ghost.
you know. Oh, okay, he's under there as a ghost. And,
But the path has still been made, and since the mental link...
so basically one of them is a ghost underground, and the other one is matching up where he's at, but above.
Right, to get back to catch up to Independence Ray.
Gotcha. So he's following Ray, but he's following Ray in the air above the road.
Mm.
To help
Alright.
capture the target.
Alright, let's see. Celestial Green runs down, starts helping his team. Recluse.
I'm gonna run towards where not towards not to where not. I'm gonna run towards Novice. Blah, blah, blah. So up here with them.
Okay. So you move up there, and you see they've only got the one robot left that they're shooting at.
Yeah.
Toss up.
I am going to do the same. I'm going to run and help with that last one. Am I able to take a shot at him?
Yeah. You can do like Impulse did, and round that corner and fire.
Then I shall do that.
All right. The number to beat is 10, and you beat 10. He resists with his no willpower. Versus a D6 plus 5 out of you. 6 is the number to beat. Ooh, what does a tie do with stun? Failure or marginal, and marginal's the tie, means no effect. Okay, so you do not manage sustain.
Tui.
The beam just kind of clips him, and you see him kind of shudder for a second, but he keeps going.
I shoot like a stormtrooper.
No.
It's not that bad. You nicked him. It walks on up, and it raises that missile launcher looking arm thing. And it targets, I don't know, this area.
Or it could not.
Right.
Oh well, you're right, but I've already said it was, so my hands are tied, man. My hands are tied.
You're the game master. You have ultimate power.
But a good game master should be a man of his word. All right, let's see. This is a burst. Okay, so I make one roll, but everybody, I'll make one roll for him for his attack, and everybody in the area will make their response to my one roll. So everybody, give me a roll. 11 is the number to beat.
Oh, I got hit.
Are we
This would be coordination. This is a dodge.
Yeah. That was my question. I just wasn't forming it very well.
Oh, well. As that's fired, I guess Overshield and Impulse will go, guess I'll die.
They get to roll
And
dodge.
Impulse doesn't.
Alright, so I said 11 was number to beat. So Recluse takes a hit. Toss Up gets out of the way.
Overshield takes a hit, and Impulse gets out of the way.
Alright. So I'm just going to move y'all a little bit to one side to signal. And this is a 7-point attack.
Okay, Overshield's gone.
Poof. And Recluse, you take 6 points of damage, or 7 points of damage, rather. If you've got some armor or something, factor that in. I don't remember what your power setup is. I know you didn't used to have any armor.
No armor yet. Probably not going to pick any up.
It's so rare that you take a serious hit that, yeah.
Yeah, it's...
The dexterity
at that
is
point.
your... Well, the danger sense, I should say, is your damage avoidance.
Yeah. Me picking up damage reduction would just be me just be kind of rude at that point.
I'll never be hit, and when I am hit, But, alright, so that's 7 points of damage. Well, and your strength is 8, so you're definitely still up. Alright.
I'm fine. Oh.
The area took some damage, but there wasn't it wasn't like a huge explosion. You know, they're not firing weapons of mass destruction or anything. Then it's the little guy in the sewer. Where does he want to try going to the surface? You're right there on him. He begins climbing a ladder up to another manhole cover.
And race size. Now here's I guess I'll find out if I can still dazzle him from behind, or if I can, or I'll figure it out when it's.
Well, he doesn't get out of the manhole cover, so I guess you can still kind of fly up right up against the wall, right next to him.
Yeah, if I have the runes removed, that's probably what Ray will do.
And then it's Ray's turn.
Okay. I'll give him the old razzle dazzle. Haven't done this in a little while. And I've generated a 9 total.
Let's see, and he resists that with coordination, I believe. I believe it's coordination,
Yeah.
just like most other ranged attacks.
Now I have that song stuck in my head.
What's up?
Razzle dazzle.
Oh, right. That's right, the Chicago.
All right, so you beat him by 4, so that's pretty impressive.
I should have had this stuff.
And Dazzle, I know we can't see because yours is sight based.
Yes. Is that a major? Is that a major success? 4 result points.
Yeah, because it's major success.
Ah,
Dazzle for 1 page per power level,
That's 7 pages.
so 7 rounds.
That's not to say that he can't just keep climbing upwards until he bonks his head.
Let's see. Trying to see what Dazzle. Okay, Dazzled characters have a +2 difficulty with actions relying on the Dazzled sense and automatically fail awareness checks using it. Using an advantage to recover ends the Dazzle immediately. He kind of shrieks and grabs his eye. Grabs at his eyes and falls off the ladder.
Ooh.
It's not much of a fall, you know.
Okay.
He wasn't all the way at the top yet.
Which means he's mucked up.
Nah, we'll say he landed on just at the base of the ladder, and so still on kind of the ledge area.
All right.
Let's see. Yellow down here keeps pounding on the robot. And it's looking in rough shape. The next one of them will probably take it out. Oops. I tried to skip past Unison again.
Why do you do this?
All the power... Because I was skipping past Power Rangers, and all the Power Rangers look the same to me. Sorry.
That's fair. Well, let's go ahead and have a pop a shot at the robot with Novice.
Okay. That's truthfully one of the reasons that and laziness as to why I just use silhouettes for the cybernetic guys instead of doing another whole set of Power Ranger looking guys in Champions or City of Heroes. Let's see. 11 was the number to beat. He rolled an 8. So that's a major success. That's a potential slam. But he'd already taken damage before.
Oh, okay, good. He's just out. We don't.
Yeah, so he's just out.
There's nothing to worry about him slamming into, so he's just out. All right, now can Impulse fire a shot safely into that combat?
Into give yourself a -2, and we'll say you don't have to worry about hitting anybody other than your target.
Yeah, no.
Huzzah!
Got that sweet max roll on it.
And we got a few of those, but I've also gotten a few ones.
Yeah. I've got no complaints about how the fight has been going.
Alright. And then it's Recluse.
I think I'm just gonna recuperate for the moment and let the Cybernetic 5 take up the last group.
Okay.
Alright, did you say you're letting the Power Rangers handle the last one?
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright, cool. Impulse will then inform you that we have hallways to the left and up, and to the right and up that we've yet to explore. So there could be more units coming from that direction.
Also true. Yeah, I suppose I'll peek my head around the corner then.
Okay.
Is this another elevator room?
No, it is not an elevator room. Ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. It's about the same size, but this one appears to be more. Excuse me. More storage. If I could have found it faster, though, I was gonna drop like a huge robot token there just to freak you out. Oh wait, there he is.
Oh, that's some bad flashbacks.
That's why I picked him. But no, the room is empty. Other than there's some more of those. It looks like the same cylinders the people are in, but these are actually like it's like they haven't been assembled yet. It's like you got a stack of the bases over here, and the tops over here, and the cylinders. Or they're not cylinders. It's like they're sheets up against the one wall that haven't been like folded into cylinders yet. And there's some equipment that looks like it might be what you would use. Like it's not IKEA furniture that they're actually assembling by hand. They've got equipment in here that undoubtedly assembles them. And something that might be some sort of hovering forklift, maybe. It's alien tech, but they're basically humanoidish, so the equipment's kind of recognizable.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we got a couple more Power Rangers, so the last one of those goes away. We're kind of going to drop out of combat initiative at this point. Out in the sewer, the little guy kind of sits up. It's shaking its head like it's trying to clear its eyes or whatever sense organ it's got that a visual dazzle took out. And it just kind of sighs. Initiating, I'm disappointed in you protocols.
No.
Oh, please tell me he's not going to blow up.
Oh, I didn't even think.
And then it just sits there for a second. Backup complete, and then it explodes.
Oh.
Give me a coordination roll, Ray, since you're probably the closest to him.
Yep, and I don't think I would have expected this. I suspect I wouldn't have had time to raise up a force field.
Not unless you had one up going into this.
I did not. So you said coordination, right?
Yes. How close is? Was it Skywatch that went underground? Oh wait, he was astral projecting them. Never mind. So yeah, it's just Ray potentially being affected by this.
Oh dear. All right. Well, not a great total. I generated a 6.
Needed to beat an 11.
Oh, that's a.
So this was 7 points of damage.
Okay. I think I'm still awake, barely. Down to 2.
But you probably bounce off the wall and skid along the ground for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
This should
he
probably
lands
have a.
He just lands right in the liquid.
No, I guess that would be
Even or odd.
I think it would it might yeah. I think I'll just go ahead and take the hit because it seems like it'll suspend too much disbelief in this game session of aliens and robots that I could like.
That you could constantly avoid the sewage.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so it knocks you back. You hit on the walking path, and then kind of bouncing over and bloop, face first into the. It's deep enough that you submerge, so that doesn't matter.
Oh, the things I do for my country.
There's nothing
or whatever country I'm currently in. Even you managed to keep your mouth shut. Odd, you did not.
Oh.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah,
you kept your mouth shut.
I won't just give that up without a fight. What am I? Okay, I guess I'll just roll d6. Or d2. Oh, I forgot to say which is which.
Well, no, I had just declared and rolled. We both rolled a 2. Roll 20 had decided. All right, he's keeping his mouth shut for this. Skywatch though, or Overwatch though, gets a good view of all this going on.
Grody.
When the little guy exploded, there's not like any blood or guts or anything. It seems to be all mechanical. Where the combat droids, it seemed pretty obvious that they weren't AI. This thing was clearly just an advanced AI. Plus, its last words were, backup completed, and then it exploded. So, presumably, it has backed itself up somewhere.
Wait, how the Power Rangers doing? Impulse will walk up.
Some of them have taken some licks, but they're all in decent, they're all in decent enough shape.
Impulse will slap a heel on everybody that's hurt.
Celestial Green has got kind of the upper arm, a little bit of his chest area. The suit had been torn off.
Oh no, and he's got tattoos.
Yes, he's very, very tattooed.
Yeah, I mean no part of Unison is not screaming Yakuza when he's like, or they could have my family in there. Doubt that. Like, okay, he's part of a crime family, or was part of a crime family. It's just like, okay, it's a thing that exists in Japan. Slap you with a heel.
And the scratches and all heal up. And after you heal, you notice the tattoos, it had been, because, scar tissue, a mess up a tattoo or a cut or whatever.
It just fixes itself. They're magic tattoos. I'll move on with life. They're scary, but I'm not going to ask questions.
Why's the dragon in your tattoos winking at me?
The dragon appreciates pretty.
Game recognized game.
But he kind of wiggles the shoulder. Oh, that's nice. Thanks. And you can proceed to check out the rest of this base. There weren't any guns mounted or explosive self-destruct systems or any of that kind of oddball stuff. You find a few more of the robots, but they have not been assembled. Not all of them had been assembled. You get over here, and it appears to be, that's the living quarters. There's areas that were clearly being set up for some sort of fabrication. Probably this up here. You had a supply of various metals and a small amount of... it's also metal, but it looks like something that's been processed. There was a small container, I guess, that looks like it has probably had blood in it at some point. It's not currently full. It's like it's been sprayed out, but you find enough residue to kind of go, okay.
I'm gonna take a few samples of the smaller samples of the metal, just like break off some pieces, and I'll just turn those over to Spear for analysis.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's basically going to be, and speaking to both, Cyber 5 and the AI, y'all want to split this in thirds? A third to you, a third to the Japanese government, and a third to Spear? For analysis?
Yeah, Akiichi is like that's more than fair.
Because, you guys are your own group, so, as far as studying this, I don't know how the Japanese government will handle it specifically, so.
Yeah, with the bureaucracy, it could be a long time before they even really got around to it. Plus, we may have some resources they don't.
Right.
I mean, they certainly have some resources we don't. I mean, and given the nature of the agreement that's been signed, I don't think they'd have any trouble with Spear taking some of it. At a glance, a lot of the metals in here don't appear to be all that unusual. One or two that are kind of rare on Earth, at least. This processed one that you're assuming is some kind of alloy, or at least the Cyber 5 are assuming it's probably some kind of alloy they made. It's not something you recognize, but
Because that's probably the thing they're using blood to make.
it could be. Ray comes in a little bit later looking all beat up.
And poopy.
Slap at a heel.
Slap at the heel.
Slap at a heel.
Yeah, although I'll probably still need massive disinfectants even after that. So I figure getting blown up and then
Hey.
landing and poop.
It's
It's
heal,
alright.
it's not cure disease.
Exactly.
In rank 6 healing, you'll be okay.
Hey, buddy, you doing okay?
Ugh, don't mention it.
I really wonder how much sludge there'd be, because this part of the city is still basically abandoned.
Yeah, so there ain't gonna be a ton in there, but it still is a sewer.
Oh yeah. And there's at the very least there'd been puddles he could have fallen in.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
even if it was stagnant, that's kind of worse.
Yeah.
Ick.
Stagnant water harbors more stuff. It's just how it goes.
But Kurigo, no, not Kurigo, Aoni, Blue 3. He comes wandering back out. Misaki is still working on the code. She says that could actually take some time. It's pretty advanced stuff.
All right, but,
She's made a suggestion on how we can get one of them out, though.
Well, hopefully, there's nothing. Well, there's probably an IV of some sort in them, isn't there?
Yes, but she seems to be pretty certain that if we damage poke a hole or something in one of the tubes, that she's pretty sure it's got some kind of emergency release. So if we do a little bit of damage to one of them, it may just spit the people back out. I wasn't going to try that on my own without getting a consensus from everybody, though.
And if we have to, go ahead and break them out, maybe. If that doesn't work.
Yeah, you're like, we could just notify the government and let them come in, let their people handle it. If Misaki cracks the code, she'll pass that on to them. Or if we want to get these people out now, we could try it,
Honestly, I feel a lot safer handing this off to a government agency because
Same.
I don't want to crack one of these things and, oh no, I just killed a 16-year-old kid.
Well, we could always do one of the 20-year-olds. And then he's like, I'm kidding. I completely understand. That's why I was consulting with y'all before just doing it myself. Across y'all's comms, y'all hear Masaki blow a raspberry, though. She's apparently pretty confident in her analysis.
I'd feel no danger in cracking one that, doesn't have the blood IV attached.
Oh, going over to one of the stored ones over here?
Yes, because the blood IV one may have a system of they're about to drop out. Do a full drain. We're about to lose one. Whereas because I mean, obviously it's built to try to keep them alive. Obviously, it's not going to be like, oh no, there's a crack, kill them, because that would be useless for what they want out of the body. You know, so I agree from a system of it would make no sense to have them have any kind of destructive insurance. That wouldn't just be blow up the entire place. But
And since the entire place is not blown up, there's presumably not one of those.
right. But since we are visitors here, you know, far be it from Novice or Impulse to be the ones to be like, you know, careful. But it's just like, yeah, we're in a different place, and if we happen to kill a kid by accident, the international implications would be kind of big. We will leave this to your team on how to progress with this.
Happy to help if you want, but we'll let you call the shots.
We'll help fight robots all day.
Akiichi thinks about it for a little bit. I'm going to go notify the government. Why don't we have Aoni and Toss-Up, if you know, he looks at Toss-Up, if you're willing, do a thorough, rather than damaging one of the pods, examine it to see if there's some sort of physical release. Masaki, looking through the code, might not have noticed that there was like a physical switch built into the thing somewhere for like an emergency release. You know, and if you don't find anything, then we'll just let the government handle it. And he steps over to like the next room and starts talking to somebody on the comms, you know, giving them the address and how to get into it. So if you want to give me a intelligence, technology, if you've got that. Now we'll roll an intelligence technology for...
And I will use my luck.
I forget, what does luck do?
That's like using determination. Or a stunt, it'll add +2.
Okay, I got you. Alright, and his intelligence is a little higher than the rest of them because he's specifically the tech guy. So what's that? Plus his skill. And now I'll give you the difficulty. Ooh, alien technology. That's going to be somewhat difficult. Alright, so he succeeded, so he gives you a +2. So 6 or 6. So yes, that is actually past a massive success. So yeah, y'all start examining, like, you know, the equipment that, you know, there's like a little pad thing on the side. I mean, you need to read the language to be able to use that. But as you dig into the base, you notice there's a switch. Looks like it hooks up to this. And you notice that the base is sitting on kind of grating. You think this switch will actually like drain the liquid out. And then you look around and you find something else that, like a release mechanism that will open the cylinder. And from examining it, the breath, the mask and all, they're still breathing air. It's not like they're in a super oxidated liquid or anything, hinky or weird. So you're reasonably certain you could trigger those two things and it would spit the guy out.
All right.
You make that report back to Akiichi. He has you show him where these switches are. basically he's going to, he'll be the one to physically do it. So if something goes terribly wrong, it falls on him. And he triggers it, and you hear the liquid start draining out into the, into the grate. It seems to be a pretty rapid release system. The stuff drains out quick, despite how much of it there is. And once it's drained down past the, the level of the cylinder, he triggers that, it opens up, y'all take the guy out. Pulling the mask off, there is a feeding tube. It comes out with any trouble. Blue comes up and removes the catheter. He appears to have some medical training. So.
Oh yeah, let's go ahead and also look around to see if we can find their clothes.
Yeah, might be in one of the storage rooms.
Yeah, you find a storage container that y'all managed to open. That it's a little difficult at first. Once you figure out how to open it, they seem to open without any trouble. And yes, you do find the clothes. And they even appear to have been cleaned or washed or whatever.
Wow, that's really considerate for a blood-stealing alien.
They're not folded up the way you would fold laundry, but they are folded up in some manner. They get him out. They get the fellow out. He's breathing on his own.
They folded this shirt into an origami swan.
Beautiful.
I can picture the little robot doing that. Oh yes, this is how the natives fold things.
Not super practical for storage, but awesome.
But anyway, he gets out. He seems to be fine. He's still once you get the tubing, the feeding tube out, the mask off him, stuff. He breathes. He's breathing on his own. He doesn't seem to be waking up right away. They can remove all the. He's got a couple of ports in him, basically. Like they put in you if you were going to have a long-term IV in a hospital. Blue's like, let's not remove those. Let's let a doctor remove those. In a sterile environment or whatever. But
we sit down for dinner and an alien busts out of his chest.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my dog. What? That was the last chestbuster scene I've seen.
It was the best one too.
So anyway, Japanese authorities arrive. The media arrive shortly thereafter. The government doesn't look happy about that, but apparently that's par for the course when the task force does something. So you all get your pictures taken for the second time today. None of you look physically injured anymore, or at least not much.
There's damage on the metals.
But several of you still have damage on the suit, so they can tell a fight went down here. Japanese government begins recovering the robot's tech. They consult with Akiichi and Pinkuni, Pink 2. And they agree not to do anything with the computer systems yet, as Masaki is still trying to break the coding, and they'd much rather do something with the computers once they can potentially use them or know how they work, rather than just taking them apart and physically examining them. And they move in. Some of the Japanese self-defense force is moved in to guard the facility, and let's see. They enlist Unison's help, assuming he's willing to help scout out and find any, all the other accesses in and out, since he can pass through walls. But yeah, there seemed to be what was that, Taylor?
I was trying to think of is that public knowledge? But then I remember I've done it to block cameras and a couple other things before. There's enough circumstantial evidence.
Yeah. They don't know if you're intangible and it may not be general knowledge that you're astral projecting, but
Yeah, I try to keep the whole body's falling unconscious thing hidden. Because I, do it in trash cans and in dumpsters and stuff like that all throughout season 1.
Celestial Green. I was gonna say, he's too much of a camera hog to avoid the cameras. Where his suit is, where his suit got wrecked, he's got that all like bandaged up.
It's understandable.
He goes, hey, technically I was injured. But so nobody is thrilled at the idea that there's another group of aliens acting in secret on the Earth. The media goes wild with the whole space vampire ideal.
Now, on the upside, while the focus on that, Unit and Unison will put the main focus on the fact it said there were others in its group that, said what he was doing was wrong. So this is obviously a small subsection and not its entire populace. There's some small group of criminals of its race that are doing this.
It still brings up comparisons to the to the pirates that the unknowns dealt with over a year, probably a year and a half, 2 years ago at this point. And their question is, hey, could there be other facilities? Could this? Because you found a dozen people or so, which pretty well matches up with the Rashi disappearances, but Tokyo and the surrounding city, those are big places. People, in the real world, people go missing out of there, and what would probably be alarming numbers, if you just looked at the raw number. So you can't really answer the question of is this the only facility this person had or what? But,
well, I would state the fact that this mother character was not here signifies that there's a base somewhere else, whether on Earth or in space.
Okay.
But
Yeah. In fact, these were all just robots. Even the little guy that exploded. So we haven't actually met any of these space vampires.
Right, any of its actual race.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing is, this is now there's no fear of any kind of, there should be no fear of any kind of invasion, because if they felt like they could take humanity face forward, they'd just do it. And the fact that they aren't attempting that means they aren't strong enough to, they're going to keep trying to do this in secret, and they're clearly not smart enough. They're clearly not outsmarting us.
Mm-hmm.
They're at the same level as the, common crook, but they have more resources.
Well, I don't know about common crook. I mean, it did take superheroes to find them, but it's not like a government managed to. Over the next few days, this incident becomes a big news story. There's people run out and try to interview some of the handful of other aliens known to be on the planet. They're in Baton Rouge, trying to question Starbound. Zach, how would Starbound respond to that sort of thing?
Deny.
Well, I mean,
I did not steal blood.
Well, he could also roll like an intelligence awareness to see if he even knows of that race.
Actually, you know what? That's a good idea.
Give me a roll.
Let him look at the language and all that jazz. Because if he knows the language, great.
Could I tap Been Around the Cosmos a time or two to give myself a little bonus?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. And that'd be a +1 or a +2?
That'd be a +2 because this is kind of to
Okay.
effect more than anything. Or not to effect, to effort.
All right. Oh, that. Okay, that's still the right numbers. It should be a 8.
Okay. Let's see. Actually, that was too high a difficulty. All right. So yes, one of the interviewers has a printout of some of the tech, some of the language. Look, I don't know about still a double. Can you read this? No, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I can read that. It's not my language though. But actually, he suggests it sounds like a rogue. Believe the name would translate Star Forgers. Should have had my notes ready already. There it is. At least I know where this one is, though. Alright, so yeah, Star Forgers. Which you would know, generally speaking, they're they're pretty reliable. Let's see. Yes, the Star Forgers. They're a group that mixes some mysticism in with their tech. Now, from Starbound's point of view, he'd have no idea if that's legit or if they're just superstitious, but you know. But they have an ore called Viridium. I think I pronounced that right. Kind of one of those super alloy or super something. They use it to make, they alloy it with stuff to make kind of one of your super tech metals. Pretty sure that have already been aware of humanity because they're pretty active in this arm of the galaxy. But they generally leave less advanced species alone. They're not. They're more businessmen and artisans than they are conquerors or anything. So if we want to be sneaking around like this, yeah, it's probably just a rogue or a small group of rogues. By the same token, if human blood is neat for crafting this stuff, he's surprised the larger organization hasn't contacted somebody, tried to set up some kind of trade deal. Just the sort of thing they do. Which leads a few days later to the UN releasing the fact that they've been in talks with these people.
Oh.
The Star Forgers, not they're not supposed to have any presence already on Earth. But there has been an opening, opening of diplomatic communications. Not to the point that they've actually sent an ambassador down or anything. And they assure everyone they're demanding answers from the people they're talking to. The name they drop is Faruke, FAR. -UKE-A. Who is more or less like the ambassador they're talking to.
Well, I mean, it's fair to keep, diplomatic talks with aliens somewhat secretive. And we know
the talks had not been going on for very long.
And from the discussion with, the guy we had in our custody for a brief moment, they didn't want, the majority of them didn't want to do this secret stuff, so it's probably literally going to be trade agreements. Probably just going to sell our blood.
Look, you give us a few 100,000 gallons of your blood. There's billions of you. You can afford that. We'll give you, I don't know, nanotech that cures cancer. I don't know, what's something.
And, certain individuals will be willing to sell their blood.
Oh.
Well, they want the quality stuff, and don't go lacing it with a bunch of weird chemicals.
You don't think CSL Plasma is going to have the quality blood that they're looking for?
Possibly not.
I feel attacked.
So while the UN, the response to the UN's declaration or admission here is a little shaky. People have strong opinions about it on kind of both ends of the spectrum. All in all, it's a good day for S.P.E.A.R. and it's a good day for the task force.
High fives all around.
Yeah, basically high fives all around.
Nobody died. High five. Nobody died. Panicked people are probably still just as panicked, but they have their loved ones back.
Yep. Now you have families of other missing people go, hey, how do we know our missing loved one isn't, wrapped up in this? And like I said, a city as big as Tokyo, you've got lots more missing people than just these dozen, but it was just a sudden rash in this one age group that caught the task force attention.
Also just from a point outside of being asked in interviews and stuff, unit would probably say something along the lines of, yeah, being kidnapped by these things is the least dangerous. So they want you in perfect health and they want you perfectly okay and fine. Where a random organ harvesting person isn't gonna care.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we know our loved ones aren't kidnapped by these things? This is probably, as far as kidnapping goes, the safest option.
So basically you make sure the fact that the devices were really designed to keep them alive, And there's some reports, some of them have, they had scars from, miscellaneous accidents you have growing up, nothing too major. The scar tissue is gone. The little guy wasn't lying. They came out of those vats as healthy as they were healthy going in, but they come out, and it's little stuff,
Yeah, this is something where you could have just asked them and you probably would have gotten a majority okay for it. But they chose to. If I'm missing a finger and they say you go in that, come out a month later, you get the thing back, I'm going.
Well, that does prove what sort of medical tech they might be able to offer. So,
right.
But so we're gonna go ahead and probably go ahead and wrap up here. It's 4:30 now, which makes up for how late we were getting started.
Yeah.
But all in all, worldwide, the reaction is okay. It's an alien supervillain. They're worried about it on about that level.
Yeah, they exist just like they exist on Earth.
It's not like you haven't had weirdos and actual vampires crop up, in the real in this world. So
It's just a slightly more sciencey vampire.
Right. But not like the ones out of Life Force. That was not a great movie.
It was pretty good.
Though I think those were basically supposed to be the Mego from Lovecraft. They just made them more bat-looking than bug-looking.
Yeah.
Though they were really a fungus. Anyway, I'm getting derailed into Lovecraftian stuff. Alright, so we're going to wrap up here. Hope anybody that comes by and watches this later enjoyed it. I hope my players had fun. I had fun running it, I know. I don't know what that was. So again, I was the GM for the day, Jason. We had Mike playing Independence Ray, Curtis playing Toss Up, Zach playing Recluse, and Taylor playing the various members of Unison.
See you, see you.
Not sure which team, which characters we'll be using next time. We'll probably discuss that once we get off camera. But we will see y'all next time.